Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to episode number... What number are we at again? I just got to think about this for like 1 second. It's episode 10, everybody. It is episode 10. We have broken double digits. I can count on both hands how many episodes we've had. Yeah, we have broken 10. I can't believe it. It's like all these shows are popping up now, because like now NXT's got another show coming in a couple weeks here. I'm not doing Backlash. Spoiler alert for everybody. Apron Bumps will not be doing Backlash. I don't care about that show, but maybe, you know, actually the summer pay-per-views before SummerSlam are not worth covering. So the next like main roster WWE show we will be covering will be SummerSlam in August. Yes,
we got NXT in a couple weeks.
Yes, we got TakeOver. We always cover takeovers, and In Your House is fast approaching. It was announced right out of the blue, and it's actually happening.
Yes, exactly. It should be good.
So, yes, my wonderful friend from our college days and a co-host of mine, Mr. Brandon Moyes, is joining me on tonight's episode. We have been following Dynamite pretty closely in the build-up to Double or Nothing. I missed this week's episode of Dynamite, but other than that, I've seen most of the shows leading into this weekend's pay-per-view event, and a pretty decent card, all things considered, but there's a couple snags that happened just last night, which we're going to get into and talk about. As of right now, none of the injured performers have been taken out or having their matches canceled, but in the case of a couple of them, two of them are involved in a multi-person affair where they can be replaced or just taken out. So those matches, even if the guys are injured, are definitely happening no matter what. But there is a singles match that is probably, for the women, that's probably not happening now. Either that or they have Statlander face somebody else. But we'll get to that very, very soon. So this Saturday is, of course, AEW Double or Nothing. It's their 1 year after they had their first ever pay-per-view event as a promotion. They had the first Double or Nothing show in May of last year. It had that amazing Cody versus Dustin match. The Bucks and Lucha Brothers had displayed their feud at that show. It's crazy that it's been a full calendar year since that pay-per-view happened. So it's happening in just a couple days, 2 days in fact, the night of the 23rd, and the card looks pretty solid. So me and Brandon are going to go through it here for you guys tonight. And whenever you get around to listening to it, before the pay-per-view, I hope. But, we have a pre-show match. It is actually a tag team bout for the #1 contendership to the AEW World Tag Team titles. So, the winner of this pre-show match will get a shot at the Tag Team Championships in the future. It is, of course, Private Party, the team of Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn, against Best Friends, the team of Chuck Taylor and Trent. And as of right now, or I shouldn't say right now, as of yesterday, Best Friends was the #1 ranked challenging tag team of the division, and AEW seems to be wanting to take their top contender lists and their top fives pretty seriously. They want them to be as legit as they can be for a not legitimate sport. we can put it that much, right? So I'm thinking that it's probably going to be solid. All four guys are great athletes. Private Party are a little green, but when they're in there with capable guys who've been around for a while, we've seen them be able to put on pretty good performances. So I'm sure it'll be fun. It being on the pre-show doesn't entice me. I might watch it because I like to test my stream on the Fire Stick a good half hour to 20 minutes beforehand, so I know it's going to work good. So I might catch it in testing my stream's quality. But I might miss it too. I mean, it just depends on when I tune into the pre-show to test my stream out. But as of right now, I think it's probably going to be a pretty solid match. But I think Chuck and Trent take this and become contenders to the tag titles. I think they win, and they get the next shot.
I Trent and Chuck too as well.
Yeah, because it's just Best Friends. They've been on television every single week since they
honestly, they've had a lot of good matches, and that match they had with Omega and I think it was Omega's I forget the guy's name, his best friend there.
Yeah, the Michael Nakazawa or whatever.
Yeah, they had a good match from there, and since then they've really took off, and people are, I mean, everybody's always enjoyed Freshly Squeezed Orange Cassidy, but a lot of people are jumping on board now with Chuck Taylor and Trent.
Yeah, it's just because they've been used a lot on television, right?
Yeah,
so.
I just think this is the time for them to get their chance at the title. And to me, Private Party is still, I mean, they're really young guys. I think they're both like 26, 27. to me, they're probably the prospects of the tag division. I know they're ranked third, but they have so much potential, and I don't think they're fully hitting it right now. So it's good that they're in the number one contenders match. But I'd say right now, best friends.
Yeah, best friends. I think are gonna win, but like it's good for Private Party to be getting a shot for the tag titles, and it shows that they're being valued and used, even if it is on the pre-show. But just because,
a lot of people are looking at this saying, "Oh, it's on the pre-show." To me, they're putting this on the pre-show because they want to set the tone for the night, and they know this match is going to set the tone.
I mean, if anyone is, it's going to be a high. We all know that AEW's got the far better tag team division than
100%,
their competition. So that goes without saying, or without question. But so a loss for Private Party here is not going to be all that bad for them. They can get rebuilt. They got tons of time. They're two young dudes.
Exactly.
And AEW is all about the long-term investment, and you better believe they are going to invest in Private Party long-term, even if they want to give Best Friends a shot over them for now. Think about it, that's just for now. That's not forever.
Yeah.
Right? Exactly. A loss for Private Party here is not going to do them any harm, and it's good that they're getting a showcase on a pay-per-view event. That's nothing but a positive for me, for that team.
Bad. Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So, then, you have any... Yeah, you're going to go with Best Friends. Any other last thoughts on this particular match, though?
I would you know what? I don't think there's going to be any interferences. I think it's going to be a clean win. I know they have something with Jimmy Havoc and Kip Sabian right now. It's a little weird what's going on.
But if they were gonna interfere, they'd fuck the Best Friends over and they'd lose. And I don't see the Best Friends losing this match.
No,
so
I actually later on in the card, as we go through the matches, I actually think Jimmy Havoc and Kip Sabian will get in one match. Since Kip Sabian's scheduled for the ladder match, but yeah, I think it'll be a clean finish. I think it'll actually be a really good match and a good way to kick off Double or Nothing.
Definitely. So, again, it might be one to tune in, and it's got future title contention at stake. So that's something. Like, that's more than what WWE gives you for pre-shows. Like, it's usually just a match that means absolutely fucking nothing. Whereas, like, the fate of this team in the future is decided in this match. There's something at stake on the pre-show. That's something you very rarely, if ever, see from WWE. So that's good on the All Elite boys and gals for putting that together, making your pre-show match mean something. Get people to tune in early. Get them to buy in, as they say.
Yeah.
So that's that, and then we are going to go to the main card. Now I'm only doing this because he opened the previous pay-per-view for All Elite, but Dustin Rhodes opened against Jake Hager in February at Revolution, so I think he's going to open the show again against Shawn Spears. This was literally just tacked on, I think, this week. They just kind of...
And we were talking before we started recording this episode. This match might be up in the air come Saturday.
It might be, and we'll get onto that a little bit later on, because Dustin Rhodes' presence might be needed in a far bigger match that we're going to talk about later on down the card. So, I mean, him losing a spot against Shawn Spears to get a bigger spot in a bigger match, I'm sure Dustin's loving that, but...
Yeah, or you could see him, maybe, like you said, open the main card, and then he might be available for the main event.
Yeah, so you mean he could still work Spears and then be fitted in where he needs to be fitted in later on. So, again, we haven't gotten any confirmations of people being pulled or removed. We're just kind of speculating and guessing here. And I also like to go through the card as if everything's hunky-dory fine and everybody's going to be participating, no problem at the pay-per-view. So in this case, Dustin Rhodes is scheduled against Shawn Spears, and I think that's a solid choice for an opening match. And nothing against Shawn Spears here, the former Perfect 10, but I think this is a match for Dustin to win, honestly, if it happens.
Yeah, after the the beating he took from Lance Archer.
Yeah, it's kind of like
what Shawn Spears said to him last night in the opening. Trying to open challenge him, saying that he's retired, he's washed up, and then that's when he challenged him and said, "Oh, maybe I'll fight him and get an easy victory."
Yeah, it's the heel
Yeah, you're kind of leaning towards Dustin. As a fan, though, I love Dustin Rhodes, but I really like what they're doing with Shawn Spears, and I kind of hope that they push him a bit. But I know that he's one of the guys in AEW that is there for the younger talent to help him. But in a match like this, I would love to see Shawn Spears pick up the W. But
Yeah.
If you're gonna predict it, I'd probably go Dustin.
Yeah, because it's like the heel has come out when the old veteran babyface is at his weakest, we'll say.
Yeah.
And has challenged him for an easy win. So I mean, it'd be great heat for Spears to get that win, but it just seems like it's a redemption story for Dustin to get him a big win on pay-per-view.
Yeah.
With the way they book shit, you know.
And going over the last couple of weeks when Cody's been out there, Dustin's been out there, and they have the the little setup with wrestlers at ringside and all that. And Shawn Spears has been mouthing off the Brandy and Cody and all that. He's been looking for a partner for some time now. I would not be surprised if you see Shawn Spears team up with Jake Roberts and Lance Archer.
It could happen, but what do you do with Tully at that point?
Yeah, well, he hasn't been the last couple times he's wrestled actually on the card or on live TV. He hasn't been with Shawn Spears, so he's probably at home like everybody else quarantining. But yeah, I don't know if I know Tully Blanchard's got a role backstage, so maybe he's pulling away from the manager spot, and they'll put Shawn Spears in a position like that. But we'll have to wait and see, obviously.
Maybe they're just through with that, or as I said, it's probably just a guy staying home and staying safe. But
yeah, exactly.
I remember he was kind of like an important part of Spears' act for a while, just accompanying him to ringside and all that. So we'll see where they're going forward. But I say this is a redemption win for Dustin after he put over Lance Archer and all
100% agree with you there.
So here's a match that I'm pretty sure is going to get completely canceled because this injury happened to be probably the worst of the three that happened on television last night. But originally, Adam Cole's girlfriend, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, love how they're adding the whole title, her whole fucking occupation as part of her gimmick, against what the galaxy's most unique alien or whatever the fuck she goes by, Chris Statlander. So this was going to be a women's match on the show. However, I did not see what happened with Miss Baker last night, but from what I've heard, she's the one who probably got injured the absolute worst out of the three that happened last night.
It was a death. She was in the corner. She got stunned. She was on her behind in the corner, and Nyla Rose got picked up for a Death Valley driver and thrown into Britt Baker. And it was we've seen that happen in WWE and whatever. It wasn't that it was bad. It was the way Nyla Rose fell. She landed most of her body weight on Britt Baker's knee, and when you hurt the knee,
that's it.
Yeah.
And Nyla is a big gal. Like let's not put that away, right? Like she's a large human being, and so when you're gonna have a large person land on your leg awkwardly, and you're not prepared for it to protect yourself, or you can't because of just how it happened, that's a recipe for you probably just blew out your knee. So
they're saying it could be between a bruised knee and then like a like you said, a blown out knee. If it's a bruised knee, I still wouldn't put her in because that's one of your top main girls, and you don't want her. You
don't want to. Yeah, if she gets hurt worse, you suffer career-ending territory if you sever the leg worse, right? So
and the way they're going with her right now is she's a big part of that division, and she's going to be a big part for a long time.
Well, and the way they've been using her has been pretty good too, where she's kind of becoming more of a personality than a wrestler, but then she gets in the ring once in a while to get some wins, and
exactly.
They've been basically building her up as like one of the better talkers of the women. Like she's been the one doing promos and all that sort of stuff. So I think the idea here was to give her a pay-per-view match, and I think with that in mind, I think they were going to give her a win here if it was going to happen. If it's still on.
Well, to me, it's Nyla Rose is the champion, Shida won. Britt Baker's 2, Statlander's 3. So it's like you said, it's almost like UFC rankings, right?
Yes, I think that's exactly what they're trying to do. Yeah.
The one gets a champion, and let's match up 2 versus 3. The winner of 2 versus 3 will get the winner of Nyla Rose and Shida in the near future. So that's the way I'm thinking.
Because that's how it goes. Because like Shida's number 1 and Nyla's the champ, so they're having. We'll get to that match, but they're having a championship match, and then right under them is Statlander and Baker. So you could say that it's the next 2 under Shida that are fighting for potentially a future shot against the winner of Rose and Shida's title match. Exactly. That could be their... That's what I think their thought process was anyway in booking this thing.
Yeah, and the way Britt Baker's been the last couple of weeks with Shida and Nyla Rose, she's been there, but she hasn't won.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that this match was pretty easy to predict. If it goes on, I think Britt Baker, no problem.
Yes, I think they're putting it on the paper so she can get a pay-per-view win. Like, if she can compete and the injury doesn't take her out. Like, you know, Statlander's had her run. She's a fine addition to the roster, but with the way Britt Baker has been used on television, and she's been used well in a non-wrestling role, when she has wrestled, she's killed it. I think this was just like give her a big win on pay-per-view and to push her career forward.
And for people that don't know, Statlander hasn't been wrestling that long. She's been wrestling like 3
to
5 years.
She's very green. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think she's like mid-20s. So again, she's like Private Party, but of the women's division. And she's another prospect that they're trying to grow, and to stick her on a big pay-per-view, which is probably their biggest, Cody said, and against probably one of their top women competitors, is a pretty big confidence boost for her.
And not to mention, like, when Britt was signed, I think she was one of the biggest, like, female acquisitions they had at the time, or maybe still is considered such. So
the first female ever signed.
So again, if Britt can compete after what happened last night, I'd say she's winning. But don't be surprised if this match actually just 100% gets scrapped from the pay-per-view. Yeah. Due to her knee injury, if it's as severe as we're all basically thinking it was, because you said it looked downright ugly. I missed the show, so I didn't see the spot where she got hurt, but you're saying it did look pretty bad, right?
Yeah, it did. I mean, it didn't look good, but, you know, like, again, wrestling, right? You don't know sometimes if they're trying to work it, if they're selling it good, because there are people that sell, you know, injuries, like they're injured really well, but after that, she wasn't really moving as well as she should, so it was like, okay, something happened.
Yeah, and so there was just injuries up and down the show last night from what I heard. So that's that. Yeah. We shall move on for the card. MJF versus Jungle Boy is happening on this pay-per-view, and
this is out of nowhere, this match.
Well, it's out of nowhere, but like I get the idea of why it's happening, right? So it's like Jungle Boy is the prospect young babyface that you want to invest a lot of time into, and then MJF is the opposite, in which he's that, but except he's a heel. So you got both of them. But MJF has been on a roll. He beat Cody, albeit through shenanigans, at Revolution. Jungle Boy, I don't know what it is with him, but he just can't seem to get big wins when he needs them. So I never, ever predict him to win. Like, to me, this match is going to end with MJF winning. I don't see Jungle Boy winning this, 100%. You know?
You know, I mean, they have a tremendous roster, but this guy is literally their top prospect, sort of say. You go sports term, their top prospect, and I see him making. Yeah,
you're talking about Maxwell being their top prospect, right? Oh yeah, 100%. He's
yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, you can finish your thought. I'll jump in after you're done.
Yeah, he's gonna go undefeated for a while, and he's gonna be that heel like Tommaso Ciampa was in NXT, where you just you tune in because you're like, my God, this guy hasn't lost.
Yeah.
You know, somebody needs to take the title off him. You're going to tune in because you want that guy to lose.
Well, you see, MJF is basically just like the guy who inspired him to become a wrestler in the first place. Now, MJF, from his mouth, said he was a huge Rowdy Roddy Piper fan. So what did Hot Rod do most of his career? He talked the heel talk. He got you to want to see him get his ass kicked when he got paired against a top babyface in any promotion he was in. So MJF is basically, not only is he perhaps the best promo in the business other than Jericho, which they're both signed by AEW, by the way. Oh my God, the only person who might be considered just as good as MJF or better is Jericho. But there's a huge age difference between the two of them.
Yeah, exactly.
It's crazy. Jericho's been around forever, and MJF just fucking started wrestling a few years ago. I think he's been, 5 years maybe in the business, max?
And, I mean, go back to that, whatever, when they were doing live shows, and him and Jericho were in the ring, you know, back and forth.
And he was holding it down. He did not look out of place. He did not look, he didn't look out of it at all. He looked like he was on Jericho's level.
Yeah, and I mean, for being that young and not being long in the business, to hold your own with Jericho on the mic is pretty impressive.
That means you have an unbelievable verbal ability.
Yeah.
To me, he's... I think what they need to do more with him is get him in the ring
a little bit more because, you know, we don't see a lot of him. We don't know how great of a wrestler he is. I know he's still learning, but...
Yeah, I think he can hold it down when he's given time, but, like, he's never going to be known for his, like, wrestling skills.
Yeah.
He's a performer who's going to be known for his promos. And there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, I've always been of the opinion that we need more guys like that. There's a ton of great athletes and workers, but when it comes to great talkers, the industry has never had as little of them as they do today. And I think that is kind of hurting the business a bit because it's the great talkers that engage people to buy money, whether they're talking you into thinking they're going to defend their title well, or they're talking you into thinking that you want to see them get their ass kicked.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's a long time, but we'll go back to somebody that was so successful on the mic, The Rock.
He's the most. He's arguably one of the most successful mic workers ever.
But I mean, the stuff he does in the mic, you know, when he had the feud with John Cena, making fun of John Cena, and then you're like, oh my god, I just want to see that match now.
And then in the Attitude Era against Austin and everybody and Triple H and the people he feuded with, he did huge business. And why? Because of his verbal ability.
Yeah, if you can work the mic and make jokes at your opponent, or like when you watch like you know, like a UFC fight and. There's two guys that you're not interested in seeing fighting, but you watch their promo and they hype it up more. Mm-hmm. It's more interesting. So I think that's the way AEW is going to go with some of their matches, especially with MJF.
Oh, especially with MJF. That's his biggest quality. Yeah. That's his best quality, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
So that's definitely gonna be what they do with him. And as I said, like Jungle Boy, he's another good prospect to work on in the future. But to me. He doesn't really win in big situations all too often. So, of course, I'm going to think MJF is going to win this match.
Yeah. I mean, they got a lot of young kids that haven't wrestled for long. And, you know, you might say, oh, why is Jungle Boy losing? Well, 5 years from now, you never know. Jungle Boy could be the TNT champion.
He could be.
Yeah. You got to grow. You got to grow your prospects.
And so after that, this could also be we're going to move on to this match, but this could also, do you have any last thoughts on Winner and MJF versus Jungle Boy before I jump ahead?
Oh, MJF 100%. There's no 100% guaranteed there.
Yeah. So this next tier match, I'm just putting it here, but it could also be a potential opening match for this card if they decide to go with it. And that's the Casino Ladder match, where the winner gets a future shot at the AEW World Championship. So Frankie Kazarian versus Darby Allin versus Scorpio Sky versus freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy versus Luchasaurus versus potentially Rey Fenix, but as what happened last night, Mr. Phoenix also suffered an injury. So his presence in this match is questionable. But also there's versus Kip Sabian versus Colt Cabana versus a mystery ninth opponent, or mystery ninth participant, which we don't know who it's going to be, but Brandon has a very good suspicion on who might fill that ninth or eighth spot, because as I said, this might go from a 9-man ladder match to an 8-man ladder match if Rey Fenix is deemed unable to compete. Also, you've seen what happened to Phoenix, right? What happened to Rey Fenix that might remove him from this match?
Orange Cat, or I think it was, Orange Cassidy went for a dive and he was on the rampart and he just landed bad on his tailbone.
Okay. They're
saying it's not, you know, as severe. You know, Bruce tailbone hurts, but they're saying his acrobating that, and he's in a ladder match. So if, you know, somebody slams him on the ladder match and bruises more of the tailbone, so he might be, he's 50-50, they're saying right now. But
yeah, so he could compete, but they might take precautions where they don't want him to get more hurt and they pull him.
Yeah. But you know what? I actually have, like you said, the to be announced guy. I think it's going to be his Death Triangle friend, Pac.
Mm-hmm.
And even if Rey Fenix is not in the match, I still think he's going to help Pac in the end. And
so like even if he don't compete, you think he's going to like interfere and help him win?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Pac will be on with Darby Allin. You know, a lot of people are hyping Darby Allin. And
yeah.
And
but like to me, it's this match is like, it's so full of like, I mean, there's a couple heels in it, but there's not many heels in this match.
Yeah,
yeah.
When I was looking at it, and when I first heard it, I thought it was just for any title that you wanted to go after.
Mm-hmm.
So when I first seen it, and before I seen the to be announced, a participant, I was thinking, okay, Darby Allin, and he'll probably go after the TNT Championship because they're going to build that kid for a long time until they're ready for a world title shot for him.
Right.
And then they said it's for a world title shot, and no offense to the talent, but Colt Cabana, he's probably mid-card, so no.
Well, not to mention he's in the twilight of his career. Like, Colt's been around forever. He ain't getting pushed as like a long-term investment.
Yeah. Luchasaurus is in Jurassic Express, so no, they probably put him in the match because a big guy, he could fly around. I understand that.
And he's athletic as hell.
Yeah.
So.
Scorpio Sky and Kazarian
are tag team dudes. Tag team dudes.
Part of exactly. Part of SCU. I can't see that. Orange Cassidy, again, I think he is mid-card potential right now. Maybe in the future he'll be world title potential. Who knows?
I don't know. I'd say he's a career mid-carder, but that's just me.
Yeah. And then Darby Allin, you look at it and go, okay, I can see him and Moxley in the future, but right away I think it's too quick for the kid.
It is, and even then I think Darby Allin should win it from a heel. Like, Moxley is positioned as a babyface. I think he should win it from a heel in the future.
That's my thing. Is then you look at Phoenix in it, and then you see the to be announced, and you're like, okay, it's got to be Pac. Phoenix is gonna the Death Triangle is gonna do something to get him the title, or the opportunity to fight for the title. And then my thing is he's got to be the only legitimate case to win. And if it's not him who's not in the matchup, then it's 100% got to be Darby Allin.
Yeah, well, it's got to be somebody but like everybody else is like tied up in matches. Like Sammy Guevara's fighting with the Inner Circle at the pay-per-view. Mm-hmm. He's occupied. Yeah. And like literally the only two heels in the match with not counting that vacancy spot is Rey Fenix himself and Kip Sabian. All the rest of the participants are baby faces. And
you know what? And what they also can do too, if he is cleared Rey Fenix, they may give it to Rey Fenix and then do a program with him and Moxley, maybe on TV or at the next pay-per-view, and then that sets up a longer program with him and Pac. So maybe he'll take out Phoenix, he'll take out Pentagon, and then you're left with Pac and extend his championship term a little longer, because I honestly think Pac is the next one in line to win the title. I don't know when, but I think he's the next one.
Yeah, well, I know it's a very good thought that Pac could come back and win this thing, because like I'm looking at the roster here, and everybody is either filled in a spot or is just like in a division where they're not going to be the mystery. Like Butcher and the Blade, neither one of them showing up in this freaking match.
My thing is, if Hangman Page wasn't in that Stampede match, I would have said Hangman Page, because I think
but he's in that match. That's why I said Sammy Guevara is and I think a heel's got to win this thing. I think a heel program for Moxley after what he's doing at this pay-per-view needs to be done. So Pac returning and winning is as solid a prediction as you could give, I think. And if it's some schmuck babyface that we just weren't expecting that they fill in, then I say Rey Fenix takes this fucking thing as one of the announced participants. But if not, I think saying Pac is the mystery 9th person and that he comes back and wins this thing, I think that's very likely. Like, who else do they have? Right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
They don't have anybody.
I know that there's speculation that there could be a debut for some sort, or maybe there's not. I don't know. Maybe they debut somebody that they signed, and I don't know. He gets the title shot, because there was talk a long time ago that they signed Brian Cage, but then he
got hurt.
Bicep.
Yeah, he got hurt.
Bicep. Yeah, but maybe he's back, and they're going to give it to him. We don't know. I mean, if Pac's not in it, I'm going to be invested already, but I'm going to be even more invested if he's not in that match. Yeah,
because then it becomes even more unpredictable. But in which case, that says I just get... Well, if Ray's hurt, then who do they go with then? Like, if I'm saying him, but he got hurt, so he gets pulled from the match, it's like, fuck, who wins at that point?
Then it's got to be Darby Allin, and I honestly...
Darby's the only man of potential to win this if Rey Fenix is out. And Pac doesn't return.
Yeah, my thing is, if Darby Allin wins it, I don't think he'll fight against Moxley. I think somebody will come in like Pac when it gets back to normal after the virus and that. I think he'll hold on it for a bit, and Pac or somebody will come in and do a match, or if they beat Darby Allin, they get the they get that chance to fight Moxley, and they'll do it that way, and Darby Allin will lose.
But, like, this match should be, if Phoenix can or even can't compete, like, even with the guys in there, this match should be something special. This is going to be crazy.
Oh, 100%.
The athleticism is going to be nuts. I'd say it's a potential show stealer, but there are a couple other matches I think could also be very good to great. But this has my full attention because, again, it's a huge prospect for the winner. They get a shot at the world title. And, you know, Hangman Page won this when it was a pre-show battle royal. Now they're actually giving the casino ladder match a spot on the main card. So the winner gets shown on pay-per-view. And we know Hangman Page got a shot at All Out last year when him and Jericho finally fought for the right to call themselves the first AEW champion. And you know the winner's probably going to get the world champion at the next pay-per-view. They're going to get, like, the summer pay-per-view title shot. Unless they just fucking blow it on television. But usually AEW don't do something like that. They will save the winner of this ladder match for the next pay-per-view. And that's fun. And it'll be fun to see who does climb the proverbial ladder. Or thankfully they're not climbing a corporate ladder. Hey, Brandon? Like, yeah. I went there.
You know what? I don't want to kick WWE in the spot where it don't shine. But man, the last couple of weeks I know you gotta intrigue the fans, and you don't have the fans in the arena with you in that. But my goodness, they're doing some Impact stuff.
And they're dropping audience numbers is really reflecting that too. By the way,
goodness.
So
when I watched that, I was like it was good at the start when they were fighting and that. And then when they got to the part where it was like throwing food in Heyman's face, I was like, oh my God, Impact.
It was just wacky.
Oh,
it was just
weird.
Wacky. Like, unnecessarily wacky.
Yeah.
But yes, I echo that if the vacancy is probably going to be Pac, and if it is him, he's winning for sure. But if he doesn't show up, then Rey Fenix. But if Rey Fenix is hurt and he's bumped from them, then it's like they got to go with Darby Allin. That's me. But, like, I'm going to second you. I think that vacancy is a vacancy for a reason, and I think it's going to lead to Pac's return. He's going to win. That's a perfect next opponent for Jon Moxley, and we'll get to Moxley's match here in just a little bit. After this, we've got the AEW Women's World Championship match. Nyla Rose to defend against the #1 ranked challenger of the women's division, Hikaru Shida. This has been building for a long time. Shida's been winning on television for weeks. I feel like it's been months. She's been on television. She's been getting wins. She's been booked strongly. You just know that with the way they were using her on television leading up to this pay-per-view, this is the girl they were building to face Nyla Rose. And I find this one hard to predict. I'm having a hard time thinking on who's going to win this because they've built Shida so well, but it also feels too early to take the title off of Nyla.
See, I'm so to say I'm a gambling man. You know, gamble responsibly, people, but
always gamble responsibly or don't gamble at all, right? So
yeah, if I was putting money on it just for fun, I would go Shida.
Really? You think she could take the belt from Nyla? Really?
I honestly think no. I mean, they're going to sign more talent as AEW goes on. But I think you're going to see the title bounce back between Nyla, Britt Baker, and Shida. And they're going to have, it's going to be almost like WWE with Charlotte and Becky and Charlotte and Bayley and those matches that you see all the time. I think you're going to see those three a lot.
Well, you know what's here in AEW's defense, those are like the top 3 women. And like they're the only 100%. Ones that are like, you know how many more women WWE have that they could put in that position but just don't? Yeah. Like in AEW's defense, these are like the women. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like they're the only ones they got.
I think the way they're going is probably Shida wins, and then you have Britt Baker and Shida in the future because I mean that match was crazy on television. Where Britt got her nose broken. Yeah, and then you can also add in if Britt is hurt and she isn't cleared to fight, you can also add in Nyla hurt wasn't on purpose, but she didn't. She's a a strong woman. She should have controlled her her movement, and it could lead to a triple threat match. Like, there's a lot of ways they can go.
Yeah, but if Britt's out for a long time, say it's like a 6 months recovery from blowing out her knee, she ain't gonna be competing for that title anytime soon.
See, that's my thing right now. I think it all depends on what the status of her tomorrow is.
That's very important.
If she's out tomorrow for a long time, I think Nyla retains. Just because if Shida wins, then what are they going to do? A rematch?
Well, they could do that.
Yeah.
But you could do that on television. You don't need to save that for the next pay-per-view.
Yeah,
right?
My thing is if Shida beats her and then they do the rematch and Shida wins.
Yeah, who do you go? Who do you go from there, right?
Have to be Statlander, right? It'd have to be.
It would have to be. She would just by proxy get that spot because Britt got hurt.
Yeah, they're really high on Kip Sabian's fiance.
Yeah, Penelope. Penelope.
Yeah, but she still needs a lot of work in the ring. So.
Mm-hmm. Well, Statlander could also use work in the ring too, but she's kind of figuring it out on the fly. So it's like.
But that's my.
Even fucking Nyla could also season up a bit, and she's the fucking champ. Yeah, she's still pretty green in a lot of areas.
Yeah.
Whereas Shida, she's a full-on veteran. She's a pro.
Oh, that's
always
fun to watch, man.
Britt Baker, she's a pro. They're pros. But like, there's a lot of women that AEW is grooming that they want to make stars, but they also need to build more experience too. And they've got one of them with the reigning with the belt. And I really don't think they want to take the belt off of Nyla. I said this is a hard one to predict. I wouldn't be surprised if Shida won. Maybe a little bit, but I'm thinking Nyla Rose retains here. Yeah. That's just me, though.
Yeah. Like I said, I would go with the upset, but again, if Britt is not cleared and she's going to be out for a long time, I'd definitely probably go Nyla.
But I'm looking forward to this match because I feel even if I think like in the end Nyla's going to win, there's always that, well, they booked Shida so well that there's a chance she could win. Like, there's a level, even though I'm going with the safe prediction, it's still somewhat unpredictable to where I can have an investment in the outcome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true.
So
exactly.
It'll be one to watch. I'm excited for the women's title match. And then from there we go to another championship match. We are going to finally crown a secondary champion in AEW. It is the finals for the TNT Championship. Cody finally meets Lance Archer, and this has been a months-long story. So Jake Roberts confronted Cody after he lost to MJF and basically called him a chicken shit or whatever, told him he was losing it. He called him out. And then he teased a client of his was coming to AEW, and it ended up being the newly signed Lance Archer. So then Jake and Archer, for weeks after that, tried to get a match with Cody. And Cody's basically said, nah, Archer hasn't proved nothing. He's brand new here. He don't deserve to fight me. At least not yet. I won't say no to it in the future, but the guy's got to earn it. Mm-hmm. So this is done for a while. They kind of, Archer and Jake Roberts keep calling out Cody in promos, and then both men end up in the tournament to crown the first ever TNT champion. Archer wins all the way to the finals, but guess who else also wins all the way to the finals? It's Cody. So now, in the finals, Archer is finally getting what he wanted in the first place, which is a match against Cody. Cody has no choice but to face the man who's wanted to face him since he debuted, because this is Cody's like last shot for a title, because he can't compete for the world championship anymore. So he's got to compete for the secondary title. So he wants the secondary championship so he can hold a title in AEW. So he's got no choice but to finally face Lance Archer, who forced himself into the finals as well so he could get Cody. This was just a long, well-built story, I thought. You know what I mean? Like, it's just...
Yeah, 100%, yeah.
And Mike Tyson's also going to be there to hand the belt to the winner. So that he's going to be there for the inauguration, which that was wacky. It's like, wow, Mike Tyson? But Cody said that, like, I guess Mike Tyson was at the Double or Nothing last year and really enjoyed the show, and they've been in contact, and Cody and him negotiated that he would award the belt to the winner or something like that. And so that's cool. It's cool that they finally have a secondary belt. I think that like they did the right time. They waited the right amount of time. Like fucking NXT took like fucking 4 or 5 years to get that North American title. Like AEW on television hasn't even been around for a year. As a promotion, they've been around for a little over a year, but on television, it won't be a full year till October. So I'm glad they're giving off a secondary title. And Cody on conference call today said that the top 5 ranked men have nothing to do with the TNT title. They're usually ranked for the world title contention. He doesn't know what the belt is going to be like, how it's going to be used in months to come. It's just another championship for the men, and he's just going to see where it goes. So he doesn't even know if there's going to be top 5s for it. He's keeping it very ominous so that you tune in to see what they do with it and how they control contention. Like he kept it very vague, but he did it on purpose. You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
he's building intrigue for the championship itself. Like, oh, what does it mean when somebody gets crowned with the TNT title? Well, we got to tune into the pay-per-view to find out. Then you got to tune into television to see what the champion does after winning it.
And they announced they announced next week on Dynamite. There's a battle royal. The winner of that battle royal faces Cody or Archer on June 3rd. Dynamite edition.
So they're already even before the title's inaugurated, they're already advertising a defense. That's a long-term booking. WWE should take notes.
Yeah, exactly.
So so I think this match is going to be solid. I don't know if it'll be anything like great, but it should be good. It's a Big Hoss versus Cody, who's this beloved babyface of the promotion who wants a championship since he can't compete for the world title, so everybody's going to want to see him win, especially after Archer destroyed his fucking brother in the lead up to this thing. But I do think Cody wins this match.
You think Cody wins?
I do think Cody wins this match.
As a wrestling fan, I really hope Cody wins. It would be a great moment. I just don't think you build a superstar like they've done with Brodie Lee and Lance Archer, but I don't think you build Lance Archer the way they've done. And he talked all the smack, and Jake Roberts talked all the smack, but you build him up that much, and he's dominated everybody. And Jake Roberts saying, "Oh, Cody this, Cody that, we're gonna beat him easily," and Cody wins.
Well,
I think Lance Archer is gonna win the title. I just can't see them building him up that much for him to lose.
Well, what if Cody gets a fluke win though? That's very flimsy. That protects him to a degree. Right?
Yeah. I mean, I guess you got something there. Yeah, if it's a fluke win.
Like, what if he catches him with a roll-up or something like that?
Yeah,
you know?
You know what? They on this past Wednesday, him and Jake Roberts and Arn Anderson had a little promo going on, and Jake Roberts said the snake is going to be in use on Saturday.
Well, yeah, I think Jake and probably Arn are both going to be at ringside for...
Yeah, so you know what? He put the snake on Brandy a few weeks ago. So I'm gonna say, in Cody's defense, if Cody does win, I think Brandy probably puts the snake on Jake Roberts or Lance Archer, and it distracts him where Cody can roll it up for a win or hit the crossroads or whatever it is. But yeah,
I just think like for the importance of the TNT title, Cody's an executive, and like a lot of the fan base views him as like the top babyface of the organization. Yeah. So to make the TNT title, like I know Lance Archer's been booked strong, but who's seen as the bigger star in the promotion? Who's seen as the bigger star?
Cody,
right?
But
so
my thing is going forward, who's got more main event potential, and I honestly think it's Lance Archer.
Again, this might be another one like the women's title where it's hard to call, but I'm
100%.
gonna stick with. I think they're gonna give the belt to Cody here.
Yeah,
so you're gonna stick with Archer.
I'm gonna stick with Lance Archer. Yeah.
So we will see. We will see there. So that'll be something. And we've got, of course, this is the last one where we got to talk about injuries, but we got the Stadium Stampede match, which is the Inner Circle, that being Chris Jericho's faction of himself, Sammy Guevara, Jake Hagar, Santana, and Ortiz against the Elite, Kenny Omega, and the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, and their teammates Matt Hardy and Adam Page, because for a while now, Adam Page has refused to consider himself a part of the Elite. He says he will help them here and there, but he don't consider him a member of them anymore.
Yeah, he just does cowboy shit. That's what that man does.
Well, that's got to be like a best-selling T-shirt now, man. Like that's.
Dude, he's. You know what? I love Adam Cole in NXT, and you know how much I love him. But since AEW started, Hangman Page is #1 for me right now.
It's because he's fucking cool.
Oh,
he's a cool dude. He don't give a fuck. He does his finish. He drinks beer. He don't give a fuck. He just does his cowboy shit. He's trying to be like this big time loner, and it works.
Yeah, and Darby Allin and him have the best finishers. I mean, the buckshot and
the buckshot lariat is a fucking awesome finish.
Yeah, so I mean, he's everything that you want,
and not to mention a hell of a worker. He's a great wrestler.
Yeah.
he's been shining. Like, he did well in New Japan, but like in All Elite Wrestling, he's just gotten so much better. Like, it's just,
my gosh, yeah.
He's got a defined character. He's a great worker in the ring. Him and Kenny's duo brought a new set of eyes to the tag team division when they won it, because they're two big stars who were single stars, but they won it together, so you get eyes on the titles through doing that. It's just such a shame that this COVID stuff happened and basically just like kind of cut that momentum he was building to a halt.
Yeah,
because he was easily the most over guy in the arena for before the crowd stopped attending shows.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So there's this big ass stadium that they're going to be competing in. It's called what, TII Bank Field or something like that is the name of the stadium.
So the wrestling arena that they're in, the outside arena, it's right beside the Jacksonville Jaguars football arena. Mm-hmm. So they'll be in the Jacksonville Jaguars football arena. Yep,
and as Brandon mentioned to me, he said like they can fight all over the whole stadium, but there's like a ring at what yard line again?
Yeah, midfield.
Okay, so there's a ring at midfield, and the rule is that the match must end in the ring. They can beat the fuck out of each other through the whole stadium, but it's got to end in the ring, which is funny, because it's a wrestling match. Of course it's got to end in the ring.
My thing is, if there was a wrestling ring and it could end anywhere outside of it, you probably wouldn't see a lot of people in the ring.
So, one of the Bucks got hurt building this match up last night. So, was it Matt who...
It was Matt, yeah.
It was Matt, right?
They had, at the end of the show, they had Omega. It was and Hardy. That was the main event. And it went onto the big screen that they had Omega tied up to the field goal post. Mm-hmm. And Jericho was going to take a bat to Omega's ribs. And then they heard like this, I don't know if it was hey or a quick whistle. And it was the Bucks. And they were in the stands. And they both dove crossbody.
Right.
I think Nick drove crossbody on the Hager and Matt went on the Jericho, but he landed weird, and you can see that he was wincing. Like, it did not look like selling, right? No, yeah. See, you never, because they're so good, the Bucks. You don't know if it's selling, but yeah, supposedly today they confirmed it's a rib injury. Which, I mean, if it's bruised, I can see him working tomorrow because it's Matt Jackson. He's going to want to work.
Oh yeah, big time.
If it's broken, he's 100% out. But we'll have to wait and see what they say tomorrow.
Yeah. So as we mentioned with the opener where we put Dustin Rhodes and Shawn Spears, we have a theory that if Matt is indeed medically unable to compete for the Elite this Saturday, that Dustin Rhodes' match with Shawn Spears potentially gets canned, and it happens anyway, and Dustin still competes for the babyface team.
Or they wipe it completely, put Dustin Rhodes in the main event. They don't want him to work twice, and maybe they move that pre-show up to the main card, and there's no.
Yeah, that's actually a really easy fix, to be honest. Like you just move, you scrap the Spears match, you put Dustin in the Stadium Stampede, and then you bump Private Party and Best Friends to the main card. That's a very easy fix.
Exactly, and then you got your opening, which could be the ladder match or that tag match.
Yes, and as I said, even with I saved the ladder match for later in the predictions, but before we even talked about it, I said this is a solid choice to be another opening match that AEW might use to start off the pay-per-view. So, but this is a hard. I don't know who wins this match.
Well, see, I know you missed last night's episode. So they took it to the Inner Circle. They beat the living crap.
Yeah, so if the babyfaces stood tall, that usually doesn't mean they're going to do it again on a weekend. Usually the heels get the bounce back, right?
Yeah, exactly. At the end of it, though, Matt Jackson they were all standing, Hardy, Omega, and the Young Bucks were standing close to each other, and Page was behind Matt Jackson, bending over like he was going to clothesline him, and then Jackson turned around and he smiled. Page smiled at him and then walked away. So to me, they're teasing that Page is going to turn, and I know they've been teasing it for a long time.
Oh, are you saying this might be the time to pull the trigger where he actually does turn and the Inner Circle wins?
Yeah, I think he's going to pull I think he's going to pull the trigger, and if it's not the trigger, I think it's going to be the continuation of the story where he's going to go for a buckshot lariat and he's going to miss Jericho.
You know, that's a very, very good point, because even before COVID, they were teasing that thing for a long time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
and I think they've been teasing it because how much Hangman has grown. Like you said, he was on fire, and I think they're like, okay, he's definitely main event or not main event potential, but they want him in that main event.
He's groomable for the main event.
Yeah.
He's groomable for it. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's either by accident, and one of the Inner Circle guys duck and he drills Jackson, or he pulls the trigger and does it for real. But I think that's the way the match is going to end, and I don't see the Inner Circle. I don't see the Inner Circle losing.
Yeah, like, I mean, this would be a perfect time for him to do it, because maybe, like, it's been so long that, and since they kind of teased it on television again, then people go, oh, they won't tease it a fucking second time, and then you actually get them, right? So that's a really good point. I don't know what they do with the tag titles, because him and Kenny are still going to have to team after he fucks them over from winning against the Inner Circle, so I don't know what you do with the tag titles.
You know what? After this, I know they're still probably going to do Blood and Guts maybe down the road. They're saying it could be at the summer pay-per-view. I think the Elite they're not going to break up. They're always going to be the Elite. I think they're going to go their separate ways, though. The Bucks are going to be the Bucks. Omega's going to be Omega, and Paige is going to be Paige.
Yeah, but what I mean is you're still going to get the tag titles off of Kenny and Paige, though.
Yeah, exactly. But I think they're going to go their separate ways, where they're not going to be called the Elite, but they're going to be the Elite when they have to battle common enemies.
Well, Paige fucking turns on them and costs them a match against the Inner Circle. I doubt they'll let him back into the club. He'll probably be ostracized on television for that. But then,
maybe the story plays out where him and Omega don't see eye to eye, and they just lose the titles like that.
That might come shortly after the turn too. They could just have them. Hey, fuck, maybe against best friends. Maybe that's how best friends get their tag title win.
My thing is, I think they're gonna do that title match of whoever wins on the pre-show against Omega and Paige. I think they're going to do that on television.
They will. It will be on television for sure.
Because the way they're hyping up the Dark Order, I think the Dark Order is the next pay-per-view title match. Whoever the title holders are, I think they're the next match.
Well, we got to wait to the next pay-per-view. But yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. I say with the idea that they could finally pull the heel turn on Hangman, and he costs the Elite the match, the Inner Circle ends up winning in the Stadium Stampede. Yeah. So that's that. And this is another one where I'm really looking forward to it. Just the drama, what they can do in the Stampede, all the pros that are involved in this. This could be another highlight. Like the ladder match, this could be definitely something to see, right?
They've put on good show after good show after good show. So, I mean, your expectations always high with
you're going to get at least like one fantastic match, if not two or three, right?
Exactly.
And so lastly, we've got our main event, because this man has always main evented pay-per-views pretty well. His debut was after the main event of the first Double or Nothing. He didn't main event in the summertime, but that was only because he got MRSA, and his match with Kenny Omega got bumped to the fall pay-per-view, which they did main event when they finally had their match. And then he main evented Revolution against Chris Jericho earlier this year. So Moxley's main evented more than anybody so far on these pay-per-views. Yeah. So easily, since he's the world champion, his match is going on last. So it's Mr. Jon Moxley, AEW world champion, defending against Mr. Brodie Lee, the Exalted One of the Dark Order. And these guys had pretty good chemistry in the WWE. They had a fair amount of good mid-card matches. Never did they compete for a top prize against one another. Yeah. But they're two guys whose styles are quite similar. They have a chemistry. They've worked with each other before. They're very familiar. I'm expecting this match to be very good. I expect a decent amount out of this main event match here. Even if it's not the best match of the show, I expect something very good.
I expect it very good. I think it's probably the most predictable match on the card.
Probably. It's a good point for that, yeah.
I would say I don't say a lot of bad things about AEW. I would say this is probably their first mistake.
Just putting Brodie in that spot so quick.
I don't. He's got all this. I don't know. I don't want to say hype, but all this hype around him about him being the Exalted One. He's this big, powerful. It's almost like he's like a video game boss where you have trouble beating him.
Yeah.
They built him up like that, and then I know Jon Moxley is the champion. You're going to lose to the champion. That's fine, but you built him up that much. and you've built him up about him beating SCU. To me, his first pay-per-view match should have been Daniels or somebody from it. But yeah, as a title match right away, I don't like it.
Yeah, it's just you don't want to see him suffering a loss right away, right?
No, yeah. So what happens after he loses? Fans are going to think, oh, they built him up and he lost. Oh, I don't care about that guy. You want to build him up where he's unbeatable, and then maybe.
But maybe this is a slightly good thing though, because obviously he's going to go down the cards, but then he'll go down to start winning again. Yeah. And then he could build himself up. Like, we know he's taking a loss. He ain't beating Moxley. Yeah. That's without question, right?
But my thing a couple months ago when AEW first started, me and you were talking, and you were saying, I'm not taking the Dark Order seriously. Like, they don't do anything. Yeah. And they brought in Brodie Lee. People are, taking a little bit more shine to them right now. But if he loses to Moxley, my thing is people are going to be like, oh, Dark Order's nothing again. You're trying to build that faction up. For him to lose, the big guy to lose, to me, it does nothing for the faction. I think it hurts them.
It might, but it's just like, I will also throw the question to you. Who do you think they should have put in this position instead? Who would have been? How do you find a more intriguing challenger than an undefeated guy who's 5-0 and has squashed everybody and he's beaten everybody, right?
But my thing is, right, other than Christopher Daniels, he's beat no-name guys.
But he beat them in quick fashion, though.
Yeah.
Strong.
But that's my thing. It is if you go to WWE or NXT and, I don't know, take somebody who was, like olden days, like Ryback when he was in WWE. He had a lot of squash matches. Yeah. Then after those squash matches, he had pay-per-view matches against Cena, against I can't remember, but he had big pay-per-view matches. If they would have did all those squash matches and then had a couple of TV matches where he beat like Daniels in a one-on-one, Scorpio Sky on a one-on-one, and then beat like Luchasaurus, fine, he's beat talent. But the only talent he's beat is Christopher Daniels, and Daniels is nowhere near the top 5 in the world title mix.
No, not even close.
Yeah, they say they want the world title rankings to work. Well, he hasn't beat anybody. I know that you're saying, yeah, he squashed a lot of guys, but tell me, the guys he squashed, are they main roster talent? Probably not. They're probably guys they just put in there and said, he's going to squash him easily. He's going to look like a giant compared to them. Yeah, it's. I know what's going on, and people are quarantining, and I'm thinking the plan was Pac all along, and he was in England, and they just didn't work it out because they only started this program 2 weeks ago, and Double or Nothing is tomorrow, so it's only been going on for 2 weeks. Usually, a world title program, you're going to start a month or longer to build a story. Like, look how long Moxley and Jericho went before you actually seen that title match. Yeah,
it might be, but like, I don't know. I could see them, even with a crowd, building Brodie for a championship match. Even when they signed him, that could have been the idea that your first program's going to be with Mox, and you're going to get a shot at the belt, and then quarantine happened, and now it's like in front of nobody, but they're still following through with that plan.
Maybe after the match, that guy that they've put into the Dark Order, that big massive guy, he's called number 10. I think maybe he reveals himself, and it's a new signee for AEW, and maybe he's the next challenger, or they beat him down after the match if Brodie Lee loses and they continue to. I don't know how they're going to go about it, but it just seems like it was too short of a program, and they tossed him in because their plans backfired and they needed to start a program. That's the way I feel, but.
Well, I mean, they didn't have to rush Brodie Lee because they couldn't have not done Jake Hager on fucking television, and they could have had him and Moxley at this pay-per-view. I complained about that when they did that empty arena match. I'm like, you didn't have to do that on television. Now you beat Hager after he was undefeated for a while, and now he's just teaming with the Inner Circle again. But they could have had that extend to, right?
He's a weird. He's a weird guy, Jake Hager, because he's also undefeated in his MMA contract with Bellator. Yeah. So he's kind of like a part-timer, even though he's there every week. But for wrestling in the ring, he's kind of a part-timer.
But don't you think, like, for somebody who is actually winning in MMA, you should be protecting that person and not have them lose in terms of Jake Hager?
Yeah, I mean, when they brought Brock back in WWE, WWE. They used his MMA status and they made him, untouchable. Yeah, I just think Bellator is a lot different than the UFC, and I think the fact with him is that if he sustains an injury, that they could put legal actions on AEW, and I think Tony Khan's a smart man, and I think Jake Hager's also, hey, you know what? I don't want to get injured. I'm undefeated. I'm this close to the top of heavyweight in Bellator, and he still wants to pursue that. But
right.
yeah, he's got like a 5 or 6 fight signed contract with Bellator.
Yeah,
so.
I still wouldn't have had him lose to Moxley.
Yeah, yeah.
But they did.
But I mean, that's not a bad first loss, like you said. Even if Brodie loses on the weekend, it's not a bad loss.
Well, it's because you're losing to the top guy, which is fine. But at the same time, it might stall your momentum a bit.
Yeah.
But like if Brodie, I just think like he's gonna take a loss and then he's just gonna go to the mid card and win for a while, and it's gonna be weird. He's gonna go from challenging on a pay-per-view to just being in the middle of the pack like a week or two after that, and that's unfortunate. But it's like that's the plan they have. This is the world title match for this particular pay-per-view, and it is what it is. But yeah, Mox 100% is gonna retain the belt in this match.
Yeah.
I'd be shocked if. VKM, I mean Brodie Lee won the world title. It's probably not going to happen. But his gimmick's been kind of funny, being like this Vince parody, this Vince McMahon parody on television with the way he eats a steak and talks at his underlings and all that. Like, it's been some entertaining stuff. But
yeah, do you think anywhere in the card? Do you think there's a debut anywhere, a surprise anywhere?
I think the biggest surprise of all is just figuring out who that vacancy in the casino ladder match is. Yeah. I would say that's the biggest one. Unless like somebody debuts for, as you said, the Dark Order, that'd probably be the only other thing, right? Yeah, or Paige actually turning on the Elite would probably be a pretty big shock. I'm sure not a lot of people are thinking that's a legitimate possibility.
Yeah. I'm thinking, I mean, I don't watch the Elite all the time, their episodes, but I catch a tweet here and there, and I've been hearing that Cody and the Bucks have been just tearing the former Revival down. So I wouldn't be surprised if they showed up. But I mean that's a big enough match. If you have two guys in a feud, it would be too much.
Right.
But I mean maybe if they Double or Nothing is their biggest pay-per-view, right? So
well, we're gonna assume that it's like kind of like it was their first ever one, so they're probably gonna treat it like specially every year, right?
Yeah. Cody was on the podcast there with Tony Schiavone, and he told them, he said that I'm labeling this as AEW's biggest pay-per-view. So my thing is, yeah, if you want to debut and all that, I think this would be the time if it's your biggest pay-per-view.
So yeah, we're both saying Jon Moxley to retain for sure, though, right?
100%, yes.
So that's the whole card for Double or Nothing 2020. It's this Saturday, May 23rd. I like how AEW is just being different from WWE and putting their shows on Saturday, kind of like with takeovers.
Yep.
Used to do. Now takeovers are just becoming a Sunday thing. I think it's because we don't want takeover to be like AEW pay-per-views. So it's got to be on Sunday, like every other WWE show.
Exactly.
So the next time we're going to be talking to you guys will be to review the show in just a couple nights, and then the next prediction we have planned will be the card or predicting the show of NXT TakeOver in your house, which is it's 2 weeks, I believe, after Double or Nothing. It's 2 weeks. So you'll hear from us after the pay-per-view is done this weekend. We'll review Double or Nothing, and within like a little less than 2 weeks after that, we'll be predicting the TakeOver in your house card. So now I'm going to do the cheap plug section. Do you have anything you want to plug in terms of social media or anything like that, Brandon? Or can I just kind of take the ball and shamelessly plug? You're going to let me shamelessly plug all my bullshit? Wonderful.
Oh, wonderful.
Wonderful. Okay, so
sit here and listen.
If any of you have heard this on Anchor or its various platforms, give this little podcast a download. You can hear it on, of course, Anchor itself, but Anchor distributes this podcast to various platforms. You can hear us on Breaker. You can hear us on Google Podcasts. You can hear us on Overcast, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, the biggest one of all, that being Spotify, as well as Copy RSS. We are available on all those platforms, and this podcast is available to download from all of them. So thank you if you heard it on any of those and gave this little here show a download. Also, if you heard this on the YouTube video format and you liked what you heard, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. As you can see, this is youtube.com/Brayster to continue getting the video form of the podcast as we do episodes. So that is all we have for you tonight, and we are going to Spanish fly on out of here. See you next time, folks.
See ya.